we've lost a couple of hundred houses, and they're still actively burning.
About 580 homes were lost in Superior. The National Weather Service is reporting a gust in the area reached 115 miles an hour. Airline cancellations are piling up in the United States with thousands of flights scrubbed. Check with your carrier before heading to the airport. USA Radio News.
Trust. Maybe a small word, but with huge ramifications. At Fellowship Home Loans, we want to be the mortgage lender that you trust.
Fellowship realizes that trust is earned and can easily be lost. That is why we listen not only to the wants, but also strive to understand the need.
Take a look at our Google reviews and our A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. But that's just the beginning. What matters is you.
Give us a chance to earn your trust, not just your business. Fellowship Home Loans, 800-804-SAVE. That's 800-804-7283 or online at fellowshiphomeloans.com.
We will listen and put together a plan to help make your dreams come true. Fellowship Home Loans, 800-804-SAVE. That's 800-804-7283 or fellowshiphomeloans.com.
Fellowship Home Loans. Welcome home.
Intercontinental Capital Group, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender, MLS number 60134.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The American Peanut Council, based in Alexandria, Virginia, recently held a webinar to talk about what's going to happen in peanuts during 2022. They first talked about the past crop. Paul Rogers of Wakefield, Virginia was on the panel, and he said there's a few insect problems and very little issues of any kind with disease this past year. He said the quality of the 2021 peanut crop was good. I've never farmed, he said, and not had to put any kind of insecticide on my peanuts. We did not have to do that this year. We never had insects. The fungicide programs for buying up was just right for the year. We're making 2 trips versus 4, and I really think that we're holding the disease pressure down. But that was good from the 21 crop. On the 21 crop, Bob Parker pointed out the USDA's October estimate forecasted 3,146,000 tons of peanuts this year, slightly up from last year. He said the reason for this year's crop is larger, that it estimated an average yield of 4,100 pounds per acre. Last year it was 3,813 pounds per acre. So overall, I think the crop, he said, will be more in the range of 3 million tons because I think the yield will be more in line with the last year's yield of 3,800 pounds. That's a webinar from the National Peanut Board.
I love living in a rural community where neighbors help neighbors, even if we don't always agree on sports teams, politics, or the COVID-19 vaccines. We all have our opinions. Getting vaccinated is your choice, and no one can make your mind up for you. Talk to your healthcare provider about your questions to help make a decision that's right for you. GetVaccineAnswers.org has the latest information to help you decide. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today will be partly sunny and warm with a high of 81 to 84, then clear to partly cloudy and mild this evening. Low tonight 61 to 64. Our New Year's Day Saturday will be mostly sunny and remaining warm with a high of 82 to 85. Then partly sunny and breezy on Sunday, high on Sunday 82 to 86. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Join Gary and Don Crawford of Pinnacle Retirement Advisors for Retirement with Pinnacle, Saturday mornings at 9 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Don't miss Retirement with Pinnacle with Gary and Don Crawford, Saturday mornings at 9. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through A Wealth Management, LLC.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks as we start hour number 2 on the last day of 2021. It is December 31st, 2021. The fog has lifted. We can see the runway, the woodland on the other side of the runway. So the fog has lifted. Susan Schmidt's in the building on her second cup of tea. So your fog's probably lifted a little bit too.
Oh yeah, I was very happy that you suggested I go down to the
local convenience store, get some more tea.
Get some more tea.
Because you were out of tea.
I was out of tea.
You had drank the Florida cup empty. Mm-hmm. So,
which is a fantastic cup, by the way.
It really is a good cup, except for the Florida logo on it.
Well, I mean, you like Florida.
Yeah,
so.
but you don't.
You know what? I tolerate them because you like them.
Kind of like I tolerate Alabama.
Well, do you tolerate Alabama?
Not really.
Well, I think it's a different level of toleration.
Not really. You would wear a Florida shirt if I asked you to.
I would.
I would never wear an Alabama shirt.
No, you would not.
Never.
But you are going to wear a T-shirt on my birthday.
Yeah, you keep hinting about this.
I know.
On your
I'm so
birthday.
excited.
Yeah, I don't know what this shirt is,
Stay
folks.
tuned for photos, folks.
I don't know what the shirt is. It's a V-neck though, so at least it'll fit over this big old leg I got that holds my head up.
It's necessary.
So, and your birthday is Sunday, so there'll be pictures put on Facebook before I get back on the radio Monday.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So.
I can't wait.
So you wanted to ad lib here and tell a joke or something?
I did. Well, first I want to do a little shout out to my friends Deidre and David Ward. I'm wearing their shirt today.
High Performance Lubrication.
Yes, HPL. They are actually in Arizona listening to this fantastic program right now.
Oh, yeah, because we got it on YouTube.
Yeah, she just texted me and said, hey, I see my shirt.
Yeah, well, there you go.
It's actually a fantastic shirt. I actually asked her who her supplier is.
It really is a nice shirt.
It is a really nice shirt.
V-neck and everything. So.
But I want to ask the public.
622-9622 with your answers.
And this is a car question, so Sonny.
Sonny's good.
Sonny, maybe he's got an answer for
me. Mike could help you.
Mike
McCoy could help you probably.
Yeah. Matt Gibbs, if he's listening.
I'm just what I'm saying.
So I'd like to do little special things for my husband. One of these special things is making sure
me a new truck.
His washer fluid is full.
Oh.
And I have noticed, I've noticed a long time ago, he uses an amazing amount of washer fluid. Like literally, I think 2 weeks ago I filled it.
It was 3 weeks ago. I calculated it myself.
And it's already low.
It's only a gallon.
How much washer fluid do you go through in a year, folks? I am now buying this in bulk.
Well, you have to make sure your window is coated in it because it's the Rain-X washer fluid, and it helps when you're in the rain, and it rains a lot in Florida. So you need to make sure there's quite a large amount on your windshield.
So, folks, how much do you actually use? I fill this sucker up, I cannot tell you, a minimum once a month.
Let me tell you something. Most folks aren't as smart as I am and don't get enough Rain-X on their windshield.
Is that what it is?
Anytime it's a situation of why I do things, it's because I'm smarter than everybody.
Well, yes. I have learned to just agree with that
Just
notion.
saying. I mean, they even advertise it right here on the radio. Legend in his own mind. See? So I don't know why this is a surprise to you.
Well, I'm just saying,
I'm right. Everybody else is wrong. I even have that as a rule in my trivia games.
Well, that's true. You do. You actually have it a rule in our home.
Well, yeah, I'm right. Everybody else is wrong. That's why you don't ask me anything anymore. You just do. So we were talking yesterday about top stories of the year in Marion County. Did you hear the top stories in Marion County? Well, let's just go over them again so people can hear them for the second time that listened yesterday. If you listened for the first time,
can you just do the highlights?
I am. You can hear them today.
Just because you've gone over
the top
these.
10 according to Ocala.com. They put it out there and let readers vote on them. Number 10, Advent Health opens a full-service community ER facility in Bellevue. That was the number 10 story. Number 9 stories, the growth of business in Marion County in 2021, fueled by an explosion of new warehouses, especially the Dollar Tree distribution facility. And it's a big old facility. It's mammoth out of 484.
Not even done yet.
Number 8, the city of Ocala fired Fire Chief Shane Alexander on June 25th, citing performance issues. Number 7, housing prices nearly doubled, with sales showing a year-to-year increase of more than 1/3. Number 6 is the apparent heart attack at Santa Anita Park of Kentucky Derby winner born and bred in Marion County, Medina Spirit. Number 5 is the residential growth, the largest percentage increase in new home permits from this year, from July of last year to June 30th of this year. It's more than any other of the nearly 400 municipal statistic areas in the nation. More home permits were given in Marion County than any place else in the country to build new homes. That was number 5 on the list. Number 6 on the list were at least 7 Marion County residents were arrested in connection with the January 6th storming of the U.S. Capitol. Number 3 on the list was the value of local property has increased. Commercial, agriculture, and residential, when all added together, has increased from to $24.14 billion, up from $22.55 billion. That's an increase of 7% across the board for all properties. Number 2 on the list was the opening of the World Equestrian Center. I believe this probably would be number 1 on the list if it wasn't for what is number 1 on the list. And number 1 on the list for the second year in a row, COVID-19, the pandemic. So those top 10 stories, I think there's some missing. Am I wrong?
There is one that comes straight to my mind.
What one? It may not be the one that comes to my mind. So what was yours?
I think the mere fact that Marion County's most eligible bachelor was taken off the market.
Paul Youngkin got married?
Was taken off the market. And
when did Paul get taken off the market?
And taken down by not a Southerner, but a Yankee.
Does Paul know he's in a relationship? I did not know he was even in a relationship.
I'm just saying.
You said Marion County's most eligible bachelor. That would be Paul Youngkin, I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
The close relative of the Virginia governor-elect, Youngkin.
Youngkin, yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about you.
Oh, yeah, I married some Yankee chick from Chicago.
Taken off the market. Got down on his, well he squatted.
I didn't get down on a knee, let's be honest.
No, we were afraid he couldn't get back.
By the way, she ain't from around here.
No. No, there's no grits in our house.
Which causes...
There's no okra.
Again, problems. Although we did have okra on the table at Thanksgiving.
We did.
Okra and field peas.
That's because you went out and you bought it.
And it was good.
If
my sister and I ate them. My sister and I ate them. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm sure they were fantastic.
So now, tongue in cheek. I understand that, tongue in cheek. But what an actual story do you think? And there's an actual story that should be on that list. It's not on the list.
I don't know. Tell me.
Let's talk about maybe the firing of Dan Mullen at the University of Florida. That's a huge story
That's
for
not
a lot.
Marion County.
But it's a huge story. It's a huge story for a lot of people in Marion County.
That's not Marion
because there's a
County.
lot of boosters and bull gators that live in Marion County.
That's
a
not
lot
Marion-
of money
It's
at
not
the
Marion
university.
County.
It is Marion County because a lot of money that goes to pay that coach comes from Marion County.
Well,
a lot of it.
All I'm saying.
You don't think Frank DeLuca's money helps pay that coach? Because it does. Frank's bull gator, a bunch of bull gators here in this town.
I know. I see the billboards.
There are lawyers. There are lawyers that I know here in town that are such good contributors to the program and all that when they write letters to the athletic director, he answers them back same day.
Or I like the lawyer's ads. I'm a real gator.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And
he is.
Then there's another lawyer in town that has the gator. You know the.
Well, there's one that is the licensed gator attorney because he's paid the licensing fee to have the gator emblem on. And then there's Bill, who actually played for the University of Florida.
I just love seeing their ads.
Well, but Bill's right. He is actually a real Gator football player. You know, it's kind of like you were going through my Instagram the other night, and you laughed at one thing in my Instagram that you thought was pretty funny, and it was, I wear a Georgia Southern T-shirt because I graduated from there. You wear a Georgia shirt because you shop at Walmart.
Yeah.
You know? Like, look, there's a Walmart Georgia shirt right there.
Speaking of the devil, it comes right in.
Man never went to the University of Georgia in his life to a class, but he's got a Georgia shirt on. Like I said, I wear a Georgia Southern shirt because I graduated from there. You wear a Georgia shirt because you shop at Walmart.
I wear a Georgia Southern shirt because you graduated from
right,
there.
Exactly. Yeah. Fanatics.com.
Yes.
That's even worse. He bought it. That shirt was printed by a 9-year-old chain smoking kid from Laos.
You know what? That's where I get my Alabama gear. That's where I did my Alabama.
But that story, the Dan Mullen story. But okay, I understand. That's Alachua County. So okay, take that off. How about the most historic local election ever, where 4 city council seats were up for grabs, plus the mayoral seat, and the division that was caused by these races, especially in the mayoral race. And that don't make the top 10. That's a huge deal. The biggest voter turnout in a non-national presidential election year, and that don't make the top 10 stories?
That's a good point. That's very valid.
How's that not a top 10 story?
It's very valid. Were you happy with the turnout?
Yeah, I was and I wasn't. The fact that 25.7% of registered voters in the city of Ocala showed up to vote instead of the 11% that usually shows up, great. The fact that still 1 and only 4 voters showed up to vote, terrible. You know, two. You want 3 out of every 4 to show up to vote. The fact that only 1 out of every 4 showed up to vote is really bad, but when compared against what it usually is, it looks pretty good. And the only reason they showed up, I firmly believe, because I talked to people who did this, a lot of people showed up and voted. When you go back and look at the totals, go look at how many more people voted in the mayor race than any of the other races. There were people that went to their voting booth just to vote either for Kent Gwynn or for Manalfa Corey, or against Kent Gwynn or against Manalfa Corey, that didn't vote anything, filled out that one block, turned it in and left. Could care less about the rest of it. And by the way, what makes me laugh about that is it's basically a ceremonial position.
Right. The city council is what really makes the decision.
The mayor has veto power, but if the city council passes something, if it's passed by more than the 3-2 vote, if the mayor vetoes, it doesn't matter because it only takes 4 votes to overturn it.
Right.
So his veto is kind of ceremonial, or her veto as it was, but it can't go in one again. And he oversees the running of the police department. But Kent's style of overseeing and running the police department is, Mike, how are we doing? And lets Mike Balkin, the chief of police, run his department.
Well,
let
me know if you got a problem.
There's no community oversight committees. There's no sending a social worker out for better policing habits. I mean, and I'll give you a prime example of where social work wouldn't have worked, but that's one of the things that is said that you need to send to social work. A lot of people on with the liberal agenda think this is one of the prime situations you should send a social worker out. You and I were watching on TV a couple weeks ago, Body Cam.
Yes.
It's a show on ID Network.
Yes.
And the Body Cam episode was the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
It was.
And they had an older gentleman who had barricaded himself inside his house. He had BB guns. They didn't know it was BB guns at the time. But he didn't want to talk to police, and they went on a wellness check, and he wouldn't come out and talk to them and all. And then they saw the guns and everything. So then it became a situation where he had barricaded himself in the house. SWAT was called out and everything. And the negotiators for the police department and everything tried to negotiate with him. He eventually set his bed on fire and got in the middle of the fire. They had to get him out of the fire and have to put him out. Remember, he was on fire when they brought him out of the house and everything. They had to do it. There's a man who is having a mental situation. He's having some sort of a break with reality. And do we send a social worker or do we send SWAT? Most of the liberal agenda, the social worker would probably prove better here. Really? The man set himself on fire with SWAT with trained guns on him.
Right.
He wasn't listening to trained guns on him and negotiators who are trained to negotiate with people who've had breaks, but they're still police officers. If he's not listening to them, how the hell is he going to listen to somebody with a master's degree in sociology?
Well, not only that, I mean, taking care of the situation safely for everybody.
You mean using military-style equipment?
Well, that is for the safety of everybody, including the other
Yeah, but we can't
members.
use, according to some people, you shouldn't be able to use military-style equipment because it makes the police just too harsh.
Once people are safe, they can talk to a social worker after the fact, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that guy. I'm sure he saw a shrink.
By the way, they took him to the hospital. Baker acted him, and he was
Immediately,
evaluated.
yeah.
He didn't go to jail.
Yeah.
He didn't go to jail. He went for mental evaluation and to get his burns taken care of from where he'd set himself on fire.
Right.
But they used a Bobcat with bulletproof shielding on it and everything to put a phone in to try to communicate with him. Do you know that military equipment they got and everything?
But that's to keep them safe while they're trying to communicate.
Of course it is. But some people don't see it that way. They see it as, that's military. The police are too militarized, and it sends a bad look.
Here's
the thing. That's military, and the military is not supposed to work on the U.S. soil. Only police officers are. The U.S. military or any kind of equipment or anything like that should never be used on U.S. soil against U.S. citizens.
So here's the thing. Are there any communities that are doing this right now?
Yeah.
In the United States?
Yeah, of course there are.
Where?
San Francisco, where the mayor just said we need to stop doing it and bring back more police.
Well, and I don't have any data on it. I don't.
Portland, Oregon, where they're doing it, and they still haven't. They haven't gave up 15 blocks of the downtown area still being held hostage by Antifa.
Well, here's my point. And I don't have any data. This is just a thought from my head. Is how many social workers going out are going to be harmed before they say, "Oh, this isn't a good idea."
See,
and then who's gonna call? Is the criminal that just maybe shot this person gonna call?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
You're not sending a social worker out by themselves. So a social worker goes out with police. So now the police have to not only protect themselves, but they have to protect somebody who's not trained in these type of situations.
Right.
Plus trying to help the person that's had the psychotic break that's in the house. So now you got two victims you're really trying to help, or two people you're trying to help. The person in the house you're trying to get out of the house, and the social worker who's not trained in ways to get behind trees or find a protective cover and everything.
It's so much better just to take that person to get evaluated.
Hog tie them. Put a chain around their neck,
That's
tie their
not
feet
what
to
they
it,
do.
drag them out by their face, get a little rock action in their face, put them in the car. If you accidentally bump them in the side of the car 3-4 times, you load them in.
Stop.
Oh, yeah.
That's not what we do here.
1970s called. You can't police like that anymore.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there was a time, okay?
Oh, I've seen many a quarter panel dented off people falling or not being able, because they were drunk, not being able to navigate how to properly get in the back seat of a cop car.
Well,
matter of fact, I may
bit...
have dented 1 or 2 quarter panels myself.
Well, I was going to say, you've had a little bit more colorful life than I have.
Be honest with you, I may have dented some too.
But the training for our police force has gotten better and better over the years.
Yes.
Whether you talk about people that are...
There are trained psychologists, people with degrees in psychology that also have degrees in criminal justice that are lieutenants and negotiators for police departments. Mm-hmm. We already have these people in place. They're just trained as law officers.
Right.
So that story, because that was really the division in the mayoral race, was how the police department should be run.
did love seeing OPD in Marion County on TV.
It was pretty good.
I'll be honest with you.
Another big story that doesn't get talked about was how the city council tried to oust the city manager without any warning or anything. Just at a city council meeting said, "We think you should be fired."
Wait a minute. Let's not say any warning. There was something that occurred.
Well,
there was something that occurred.
No, there was not, because there was not. There was nothing that led to that. She was caught blindsided. There was nothing that led to that. There was nothing that led to that. She was caught by 2 city councilmen that put her up to be fired. And there was a vote of no confidence. And it almost cost one sitting city councilman his chance to run for re-election because he voted to keep her on staff. And that story didn't get mentioned anywhere in the top 10 stories. It doesn't even get lumped in with the firing of the fire chief. They don't tell the whole story about what the fallout was from that. How's that not get included? I just don't understand some of these stories. How they don't get a.
I just love that I'm being silenced.
How does the the school board's mask mandate. How's that not one of the top 10 school stories? Where the school board voted at one time to go against the governor's wishes and create a mask mandate, but you could opt out for it, to the point where they almost arrested a parent who went to speak in front of them because she wouldn't put a mask on. When the police showed up, the police were literally called. Police showed up and go, why are we here? She won't put a mask on. She doesn't have to have a mask on. She doesn't talk to us. No, she doesn't. How's that not a top story? That the school board tried to, on their own, tell the mayor of this town, the police of this town, and the governor of this state, hell with what you think. We make our own rules. How's that not a story?
I don't think it's a top 10 story.
Anytime the school board's involved, it should be a top 10 story just because the school board, don't get me started on the school board. Try to be nice. Try to be nice with the school board. Because I like one member of the school board, and then there's the other four. So I'll just leave that alone. How about the good works that are being done by the Marion County Commission? How they didn't raise taxes again. They stayed with the tax millage rate the same. How about that? How's that not a top story?
I think that's going to be a top story in the next election.
It's going to be a serious election coming up. Going to be a big election coming up. Running for I know that my favorite county commissioner, though, she's not up for election this time. She's got 2 more years. You know how I know that? I had 2 more years on the Historical Commission, and I serve at her leisure. So, talking about Commissioner Stone.
Stone, yeah.
Yeah. 8 years I have been on the Historical Commission by the time she finishes with her this term she's in. 8 years.
You do great work.
Well, we miss Darrell Riley, though.
Well, yes.
We miss Darrell Riley. He passed. How was the passing of Doug Oswald not a pillar of this community, a giant oak, as Buddy Martin would say, of this community, passes at 98 years old? How's that not a top story that one of for the last 4 or 5 decades, one of the leaders of this community passes?
I don't even know who that is.
A lot of people in Marion County do, though. Doug Oswald was mayor. He was president of Sun Bank. He ran the golf course. He was big with Rotary. He was paramount in bringing the Appleton. He actually oversaw the construction of the Appleton in his community. That's how big a deal Doug Oswald was. He just passed away. It was a blip in the newspaper for about a day. Well, how is the talks about putting roads through horse country not one of the top 10 stories?
Because it's not over.
But it still was a story in this year.
You think
should
that
be a
Trump's
top 10 story?
Whatever is in there? What could that
7 Marion County residents arrested for storming the Capitol.
Well, they're just
That's number 5. That's number 4 on the list.
They're trying to bring that back into. That is kind of dumb.
Advent Health opens an emergency room in Bellevue.
Yeah, that can go. See,
Okay.
when you were going through all of those, I wasn't really listening.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying is there were bigger stories to me in Marion County than some of the ones they chose. The fact that we were able to get Kevin Stone to come on the radio to talk football and give oh no, he's terrible at handicapping football. Never mind. That was going to be a big story, but
we're going to see who he's going to pick for
well,
the championship.
he's picking Georgia. He is. So we'll find all that out at 10:30 with What's the Line with Kevin Stone. We got to take a break. When we come back, more with Susan Schmitz, plus Dumb Crook News at 10 o'clock. And boy, it's a good one this week. Can't wait till you hear about these idiots. We'll do that next right here. We'll talk more with Susan next on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.